Hey, I'm going live right now because I want to test Scott's sound. So if you guys could just get on. So you're on the live, you see Scott?
Hi.
Okay, I'm going to have him talk. Just do it.
Testing 1 2 1 2. This is about performance volume. I can be louder though.
How is that volume? Perfect. All right, let me.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Beyond the Plate, this year's fundraiser for Early Connections Learning Centers. I'm Scott R.C. Levy. Some of you may know me as the producing artistic director at the Fine Arts Center Theater Company, but I'm so happy to be here again this year supporting Early Connections and their ever important, perhaps more important work than ever. And here I am live from Early Connections headquarters in downtown Colorado Springs. Now is the time to get your wine open, if you haven't already, and poured into a glass, or just from the bottle. We can't see you, so however you want to drink it. And get your food out of the refrigerator and on the counter, and get ready to cook this fabulous meal. Also, you got one of these, right? This is a hat, but it's flat right now, so I want to help you figure out how to make this into a hat that you can put on your head. There's a front of the hat, obviously, where that Early Connections logo is, and on the back of the hat, you will see on the left side a thin strip, and you can just peel that strip off like that, and then you are able to make the hat. I wish I could see all of you in your fabulous Early Connection chef's hats. You are in my mind's eye. Well, sometimes they'll stay on for a long time. Maybe yours will stay on longer than mine did. Before we get too far down the road, I want to share a piece of technology advice. Having a live program on one platform, YouTube and Facebook, which you're watching this video on, is super. And fundraising on another platform, which we're using something called ClickBid. We recommend that you watch on your laptop or desktop and donate. Make your donation right directly on your cell phone. Before we do get started with cooking dinner, we know that the time is going to come pretty soon where I will ask you to make a donation to Early Connections Learning Centers to support all of the children that the organization reaches daily, weekly, and annually. So before Michelle and Kathy get started, I want to leave you with this thought. We all come into these events with a number in our mind that we are willing to donate, and I want you to think of that number. You got it. Maybe add another zero. And now double it. And you can double that number pretty quickly in your head. And the reason why doubling the donation that you're willing to make means the world of difference to Early Connections this year is that you get a 50% tax credit. So if you were thinking of donating $1,000 and you doubled it to $2,000 with the tax credit you'll receive, the donation to you will still only feel like $1,000. So I hope that you will keep that in mind when we get to the donation portion a little later in the proceedings. Now, let's get started with Kathy and Michelle, owners of Picnic Basket Catering.
Hi, I'm Michelle Tallarico, co-owner of Picnic Basket Cravings and Buffalo Gals, and we're going to explain the meal kit that you have in front of you tonight so that you know what you have and how to prepare it. This is Kathy.
Hi, I'm Kathy Dreiling, the other co-owner of Buffalo Gals Grilling Company. We're going to insert a little bit of Central Coast California tradition into your meal packet tonight with certified Angus beef tri-tip sirloin. Now, it will come looking like this in your packet, but I want to talk to you just a little bit about this cut of meat. This is a triangle cut off the bottom sirloin. It is a very, very versatile type of cut that you don't often see in the grocery store but are starting to see now. Santa Maria barbecue tradition in Central Coast California involves this cut of meat. It is something that grills quickly, is seared over high heat, and slices perfectly at medium to medium rare. It's a triangle cut that, I will tell you what our secret is. When you find it in the grocery stores a lot, it has been trimmed almost completely down. The secret is a fat cap of about 1/2 inch, and that just melts into that tri-tip and just makes it so juicy and wonderful and just sliced like butter. What you're going to get is you're going to get your tri-tip seared and scored, and you're going to want to season it. When you do, it will be a good amount of seasoning. I'm going to just grab this. Normally we would just salt and pepper lightly, but with tri-tip, just going to, you really want to do a very generous rub. So coat the meat with the rub. And that's all there is to it. No marination, nothing like that. Just goes into the oven just like that. At about 325 for 30 to 40 minutes.
My favorite food is pizza, macaroni and broccoli, macaroni and meatball, sushi. So you cook the macaroni first, and then you cook the broccoli, and then my family gets. You open a can and then you cook it on the stove. How you make pizza is, you get the dough and you squish it.
Hi, I'm Michelle Tallarico, co-owner of Picnic Basket, Cravings, and Buffalo Gals, and we're going to explain the meal kit that you have in front of you tonight so that you know what you have and how to prepare it. This is Kathy.
Hi, I'm Kathy Dreiling, the other co-owner of Buffalo Gals Grilling Company. We're going to insert a little bit of Central Coast California tradition into your meal packet tonight with certified Angus beef tri-tip sirloin. Now, it will come looking like this in your packet, but I want to talk to you just a little bit about this cut of meat. This is a triangle cut off the bottom sirloin. It is a very, very versatile type of cut that you don't often see in the grocery store but are starting to see now. Santa Maria barbecue tradition in Central Coast California involves this cut of meat. It is something that grills quickly, is seared over high heat, and slices perfectly at medium to medium rare. It's a triangle cut that, I will tell you what our secret is. When you find it in the grocery stores a lot, it has been trimmed almost completely down. The secret is a fat cap of about 1/2 inch. And that just melts into that tri-tip and just makes it so juicy and wonderful and just sliced like butter. What you're going to get is you're going to get your tri-tip seared and scored, and you're going to want to season it. When you do, it will be a good amount of seasoning. I'm going to just grab this. Normally we would just salt and pepper lightly, but with tri-tip, just going to, you really want to do a very generous rub. So coat the meat with the rub. And that's all there is to it. No marination, nothing like that. Just goes into the oven just like that. At about 325 for 30 to 40 minutes.
My favorite food is pizza, macaroni and broccoli, macaroni and meatball, sushi. So you cook the macaroni first, and then you cook the broccoli, and then my family gets. You open a can and then you cook it on the stove. How you make pizza is You get the dough and you squish it. You pat it down. Then you get the sauce. Then the cheese. Then if the people want anything else on the pizza, they can put it on. And then they cook it. I don't know.
Hi there. Stop your stirring, stop your cutting, stop whatever you're doing to cook that great meal tonight.
Hi, Doug Abernethy with RTA Architects.
Stuart Coppage with RTA Architects. We're both principals here and we both love early connections.
So we've been here in Colorado Springs for about 46 years, not near as long as Early Connections, but we've been downtown this entire time and we really enjoyed our relationship with Early Connections and everything they've done for our community.
I've had the pleasure of working at the Historic Day Nursery on a project to replace all those great art glass windows.
And I've been working with Diane and her team at Antlers Park, planning for a new facility in the park.
Early Connections is one of the great institutions in Colorado Springs, and we're proud to be a part of their story.
So get back to work.
Good evening and welcome, and thank you for being a part of this wonderful fundraising event. I'm Jim Little with Coltrane Wine and Spirits. I'm lucky enough to be here with Mike Bell, a good friend, a fellow wine connoisseur, and we're just going to talk for a minute or two here about Chapelet Wines. Thanks for being a part of this wonderful fundraising event. We're certainly happy to be a part of it. As you know, Coltrane's been here for 40 years or so, and we love doing events like this for the community. What I want to talk about is a little bit about Chapelet Wines, and Mike and I went to a lunch there with one of the Chapelet kids about 15 years ago up in Denver, and we've been big Chapelet fans ever since. I'm going to let Mike talk a little bit about the wines you're going to be tasting tonight.
I recently had the wines within the last 2 weeks, the two Cabernet styles that you've had. One is their Bordeaux style, which is the Cuvée, and it's a mix of the 5 basic Bordeaux varieties. It's a reasonably priced wine. It is a drinkable now wine, and it really is a nice smooth wine that goes with almost everything. The other one that some people bought was the Cabernet Signature wine, which is their classic Cabernet style. It has a lot of cassis and a lot of burnt cherry in it. It's a very nice tasting wine, and it will last for a long time. Chardonnay that you have in your package, which hopefully you've been chilling already and hopefully you're tasting right now, is from the Carneros region there. It's a classic California style with a lot of citrus type taste to start with, and a little bit of a good acidity, and a nice wine to go with almost all the foods.
What I love about Chapelet wines, Mike, and you and I have talked about this before, is they're made in kind of a Bordeaux style. You know, back in 1976, I believe it was, when Don Chapelet started his winery out there in Napa Valley. He was looking all over the valley as to where to plant grapes, and he kind of decided on this area up on Pritchard Hill rather than the valley floor. One of the reasons is because of the gravelly, stony soil you get up there. You get a lot of intensity out of the grapes, tons of flavor out of the grapes. And he's proven to be right. I mean, Chapelet wines have shown great for many years. They get wonderful accolades, wonderful scoring points if you care about stuff like that. One thing we didn't mention, Mike, with the two reds, hopefully you've had them open by now. If you haven't, get them open because you should be starting to enjoy them fairly soon, even before the cooking starts, because I always believe you should be drinking a little bit of wine before you even start cooking. So, the Chapelet family, wonderful family-owned winery, which is what we support a ton of here at Coltrane. A lot of the big wineries out in California have been bought up by corporations, conglomerates. We love supporting the small guys like the Chapelets. Mike?
Enjoy tonight. Should be a wonderful night of good food that you're preparing per instructions, and just enjoy the wines while you're doing it. Thanks.
Kathy and Michelle, one last thing. We love these guys. We do lots of events with these guys, and I think these wines are going to pair beautifully with these foods you're going to have tonight. Thanks so much. Good. One last thing we forgot to mention is you all have a tasting sheet that was in your package when you received it, and it looks like this. As you know, I am a retailer and we do sell wines. That's the good news. And the other good news is the price of the wines you'll see here, and 15% of the cost of that wine, the price of that wine, will go directly back to Early Connections. And we're very proud of doing that. And if all you guys buy a case each, that's going to be a boatload of money going back to Early Connections. So step up, buy some wine, and have some fun tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim and Mike, for that great information on this wonderful wine that we've been enjoying.
I can't think of two better wine aficionados to let us know what's right.
You will also be getting in your kit this wonderful in-season asparagus. There we have pre-blanched it so that it will take you just a little bit of time to cook yourselves. We would recommend that when you get the asparagus that you also put it into a mixing bowl and you toss it with a little bit of olive oil, which we will send along with your kit. And there'll be instructions on that being for the asparagus. We recommend our seasoning for all of the different items that you'll be having because it really is a perfect complement to everything. So you're going to put your asparagus into the bowl and you will do a little olive oil and toss that in a little seasoning, and then you simply will pour that asparagus onto the pan. And the same process is going to happen with the potatoes as well. So the baby bakers will come to you in a similar fashion, and they will also be pre-cooked so they don't take as long for you to cook. You will be cooking them for about 20 minutes, the baby bakers, and 10 to 12 minutes for the asparagus. This will all be in your meal kit instructions. And I recommend that, of course, you have a glass of wine in hand as you're doing that.
Where's the wine?
I don't know, but
Mike, where's mine?
Definitely hope that you're enjoying a glass of wine because it really is it's a fun meal kit. It's something that you can do at home, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that as well. So basically you'll just take that and put it onto your pan. I like to have everything facing the same way. It just there's really it's an obsessive compulsive thing. I think it just looks better, but I also think that things cook more evenly. You'll see once you try this tonight after this comes out of the oven that the flavors are just wonderful with that seasoning rub. And so so again, you would, as you're timing out your meal that night, you would put this into the oven. As we said, that this will go for about 30 to 45 minutes. So as you're timing things, I would have a little bit of a timeline, and we'll send along our recommended plan so that you know how to cook everything. But typically these would go in when there's just about 20 minutes left on your cooking time for your tri-tip, so that you've got plenty of time to do that. And then you would repeat the same process with your potatoes. Okay, now it's time to put our vegetables and potatoes into the oven. We're going to keep the temperature the same in the oven, and we're going to put the potatoes in on the top, and we're going to put the asparagus in on the bottom. And now that that is done, we'd like to do a little toast with some wine and say thank you so much to Jim and Peggy with Coltrane.
And now let's see how Mike and Diane are doing.
Hi there, we're enjoying ourselves. We're adding a little spice. We're adding a
A little bit of
spice.
spice for us too.
Tossing our asparagus.
And our potatoes. Hope everybody's having as much fun as we are tonight. And hope everybody's enjoying the wine. Here's a salute to Early Connections and hope everybody's having fun tonight.
Well, that's just wonderful. I hope that you have some food cooking in the oven. Maybe it's time to pour another glass of wine. Why not? And now it's time to think about donating to Early Connections Learning Centers. Now, the way this works is that I want you to text Early Connections as one word to 56651. And I believe that the instructions you can see right below me here. Again, that's texting Early Connections to 56651. When you do that, you should immediately get a text back that asks for the dollar amount that you would like to donate. Remember to double that number before you put the number in, and then it will provide you a link to a website where you will be able to complete your transaction. And tonight, we ask that you dig a little deeper. Think about doubling that original number you had on your mind before we started this evening. Give a little more to change a child, multiple children's lives that receive support here through Early Connections. As you're making your gift, I want to tell you a little bit about how your gift is going to make a difference this evening. First of all, I want you to know some of the things that Early Connections has been doing during this COVID time. To continue the children's early education at home, the Early Connections created many videos and continues to do so, and digital content options for families to read along with their children, to do STEAM-related activities, and more. These videos featured teachers from their classrooms so that there was already a connection there. In addition to creating daily videos, activity kits were made and sent to children's homes, including work with the Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. And as we navigate these difficult times, we have to know that social emotional learning and children's ability to be amongst their peers is more important than ever, and will be more important as we find our way on the other side of this crisis. And I know that Early Connections is committed to ensuring that the children get the best start that they can, and will be there every step of the way in making sure that the children thrive as they would normally, and coming out of this extraordinary time. I also wanted to let you know that 35% of the children that Early Connections work with identify as non-white, meaning that the entire community is being represented and is being taken care of by the excellent staff and faculty at Early Connections Learning Centers. So, let's go. If you haven't already, who's up for $5,000?
We're going to Diane.
No, we're going to go to to Diane.
So tonight I'm here asking you to support Early Connections Learning Centers. There have been a lot of requests this year from nonprofits and organizations in our community that need support during these difficult times. So you have a choice. There's a lot of choices about where you can give your money. And so why give it to Early Connections Learning Centers? Well, from our perspective, there's nothing more important than the life of a young children and the future for all of us. When you think about Early Connections, you think about, for us, that first 5 years of a child's life, everything that happens for them as we partner with families to make sure that those kiddos have a great start in life and a great opportunity to be successful in school. We want families to be able to work. We want them to be able to go to school. We want them to know that there's a place that children will get the highest quality early learning that there is to offer, and that's Early Connections Learning Centers. Thanks so much again, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's video.
Welcome to Early Connections Learning Centers.
Some of you already know Early Connections.
And we're super glad to have you. Some of you are just getting to know us.
And we're super glad to have you.
Early Connections is the best school in the whole world. And it's no accident because we have incredible support. Hey, we're talking about you.
And we can use all the help that we can get.
That's also you. At Early Connection Learning Center, we learn. We play. We eat. We are healthy. Most importantly, it is better here because we have you. And you matter. You make a difference if you give 5 pennies or $1,000. But lots of money is better.
However much you give,
It matters. It matters because I matter.
at the end of the day,
Don't forget, you give for me, my future, and mine. And me, our future, and mine. And when you give,
you help us.
you help me explore. You help me to see. You help me dream. You help. You help.
You help us.
You know what time it is. Get out your wallets. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So where do I sign?
So clearly, the children can make a better case than I can. And now it's time to raise our virtual paddles. Again, you're going to text Early Connections to 56651. And as I was about to say earlier, how about $5,000? Who has $5,000? Remember, that's a $2,500 tax credit. $5,000 will provide a yearly scholarship for one of our school-age children, providing a family with the security of high-quality programs so they can continue to work with peace of mind, knowing their child is cared for and learning during these uncertain times. Looking for $5,000 to support Early Connections and the children who receive services through the organization. Moving on, perhaps you'd like to give $3,000. How about $2,500? $2,000. $1,500. Remember, that's really only $750 to you. And now if we get to $1,000 for $1,000 donation, which to you is $500 with that tax deduction, that tax credit, that gives a child a nutritious breakfast, lunch, and afternoon snack every day that they are here at Early Connections for a full year. Having a full belly and the nutrition that you need helps the brain learn to grow. It's so important for young children. $1,000. $1,000 looking for. I see that we're just over $5,000 in donations for the children of Early Connections. How about, well, say $1,000. If you haven't pressed that 56651, and put in early connections, do it now for $1,000, or maybe double it. Make it $2,000. That's still only $1,000 to you. I see we're over $6,000 now. Thank you so much to everyone out there. How about $750? $750? Anybody want to donate $750 to Early Connections? We'll take it down to $500. $500, which is $250 to you through the tax credit. $500. Who will donate $500? Thank you so much. We are now showing over $10,000 in donations for Early Connections. I was at $500, right? Have you put in the $500 yet? Have you put in your $500? Remember, that's only $250 to you. So if you're going to put in $500, how about putting in $1,000, which is $500 to you? But perhaps you're looking to make a gift of $250, and we will gladly accept that $250 donation, which with the tax credit is $125 to you. Will you text $250 to 56651 using Early Connections in your texting device? $250? $250. How about a $100 gift? For $100, with a $50 tax credit, $100 gift gives parents the opportunity to attend a Positive Solutions for Families course. This is a 7-class course which provides parents the tools they need to support their child's emotional development at home. So important, especially now as we navigate these terribly uncertain times. $100. Who will donate $100? I see a few $100 donations coming in. We would love to see some more. 56551. Early Connections. Text Early Connections to 56651. $100 donation. Please change a child's life and make your gift now by following the information that is, I think, to this side of me on the screen. 56651, looking for 100, 250, 500, 1,000, 5,000, as much as you can support Early Connections. You know that that support is going to go further than the amount of money that you are donating today. Keep donating. As I keep talking, as your food keeps cooking, as you sip on some more wine, before we close this gift opportunity, I'd also like you to take a moment and take a look at inside the packet that you got at the photos and stories in our meal kits. The box is hand decorated by our classrooms. Which child's story did you receive? I received Nathaniel's. My name is Nathaniel, and I am 2 years old. I like to ride my bike, and I try to do everything, just like my big brother. My dad is deployed overseas, so my mom says she's really grateful for the support she gets from Early Connections. Nathaniel's favorite color is red. Favorite food? Candy. Favorite animal? Fish. How about an extra $100 in donation gift for Nathaniel and the child whose stories you have in your pack? Let's think about all of the children in our lives that we love and support. A daughter, a grandson, a niece, son, daughter. Consider this child and how their lives would be different if you weren't there to love and support them. And by making a gift right now, you are extending that love and support to a child and multiple children at Early Connections so that they can have love and care that all children deserve, and as I've said before already, need more than ever due to the current crises we find ourselves in today. Now, this is great. Now I'm taking a quick look. It looks like we are at about $25,000 in donations, but I know we can do better. So if you haven't given yet, 56651, text Early Connections to 56651, double your gift. And if for some reason you're having trouble with the technology, you can either make a comment in the live chat if you're watching this on YouTube. And of course, you can certainly mail a check into Early Connections. I do believe that the mailing information is provided in your program this evening. This is great. So thanks, everyone. Let's keep it up as the program continues. As you get ready to eat, if you're already donated, donate again. Why not? Put another $250 in for Early Connections. I'd like to thank some of our donors that I can see. We have a couple of anonymous people, Nadine Hensler, Nancy Bensmiller. Thank you so much for your donation, and keep donating. Remember, $100 is actually $50 with your tax credit. $250 is actually $125 with that tax credit. So give again, give often. Maybe after you had your tri-tip, give again. And what we're giving will be open for the rest of the evening. But for right now, let's go back to Kathy and Michelle and get this delicious smelling food out of the oven.
Welcome back. Now we are going to take the food out of the oven that we have put in just a little bit ago. And we're going to get our nice and sizzly, smelling amazing tri-tip sirloin out. And then we will get our roasted baby bakers. I recommend that you have some pot holders on hand. I'm just going to do a quick shout out to the Denver Broncos because those are the pot holders that we have here today. I typically use, certainly if you have trivets and you can use those to separate your counter from a pan, do that. I like to put things right on the pot holders. It tends to just help save a step. And we've got all of our food out of the oven. And Kathy is going to talk to you right now about just a very, very quick lesson on knife sharpening and also on slicing the tri-tip.
Right. So we have our beautiful tri-tip sirloin ready to carve, and I thought it might be kind of fun to show you how to use that funny looking thing in your butcher block. This is a steel. It's great to have a really nice sharp knife, and if you've never used a steel, it doesn't actually sharpen your knife, it just sort of realigns the molecules, but it works really great to just keep it always maintained. So easy way, you see some chefs just go to town at a carving station, but really a very simple way to start using a steel is by putting it on the corner of your cutting board and just going from end to end with at a slight angle like that. And then when you get a little better, you can do that kind of thing. But that maintaining your sharp knives just really keeps things safer in your kitchen and much more useful. So we've got our tri-tip, it's all finished. That beautiful fat cap has melted down into the certified Angus beef sirloin. And I like to start, there's a very, very different thing about slicing a tri-tip. Most of the time you go against the grain, but with this particular cut of meat, you go with the grain. It's the tradition. So you turn it over and look to see that the grain is going pretty much towards that, looks kind of like a boomerang, right? There's a short end and two long ends. And the grain is moving through the short end to the bottom. You can trace it that way. And we're just going to go right through the center. And
perfect.
Nice medium. Tri-tip, if it's too rare, can be chewy, but this will be perfect, right? And then you're going to go back along the grain with your nice sharp knife in 1/4 inch slices. If you want to do sandwiches, then you want to do something a little thinner, but that's where the sharp knife comes in. You've got a nice well done end piece. The rest of it's beautiful. Do the same thing on the other side and you're ready to go.
And the great thing about this dinner package that you have, you will, I assume, unless you are a huge meat eater and eat all of the meat yourself or with the other person that's sharing it with you, You will have leftovers, and there are quite a number of things that you can do with tri-tip. If truth be told, Kathy really, of the two of us, is more the natural chef. She's going to tell you right now about how pouring the juices from the pan where the tri-tip cooked onto your serving
Finished sliced.
Yep, once it's finished sliced. But I just want to give her some kudos, because really, of the two of us, I can certainly get in and do what I need to in the kitchen, but I have always been more on the sales end, and Kathy is the true chef amongst us, and she loves to cook, and she knows what she's doing much more so than I just follow the orders.
She's the chemist. She likes to bake.
I do
It's
like
true.
to bake. Baking is something that
I've
love.
never even baked a cake.
I love the science of baking cake.
So we're just going to get this ready, sliced, to put on a platter. Or you can just eat it right out of the pan if you can't wait any longer.
We have some people that pick these up from us, and they say that they eat them just in the foil, holding them in their hands while they're in the car. And I don't know that I used to believe them, but I think I do believe some people do that. So it's nice to kind of, this is really more for presentation. I like the meat when it's a little bit more medium well, so I'm someone who would want more of the end pieces, but most people that love beef will tell you that having it medium is the much better way to have it, but every part of it is delicious because of that rub and how it's seasoned into the meat and the fat cap. It's fantastic. The potatoes have also come out of the oven, and as you can see, they're perfectly roasted, golden brown. They've got some nice seasoning to them, and they should be ready to go. Certainly you can feel free to salt and pepper to taste if you care for any extra. And then our wonderful asparagus, which is just perfectly cooked. It was just barely, we barely blanched it ahead of time before you got it tonight. And so once you pull it out of the oven, it's just going to be that perfect, as the asparagus gets this translucent color, kind of light green. It's perfect. It's ready to go. And that is our meal kit. Now we are plating the food. Kathy is making this a very generous serving of tri-tip, so this would clearly be for her. I'm not as big of a meat eater. When you're plating, of course you can do this to your own preference tonight as you're doing this. It is always kind of nice to kind of have things in a way that just looks beautiful. I think it's fun to have a little bit of color in separation, and so we've just kind of got the meat shingled right here. I like to always do 5 of these little baby bakers. Of course you can have more. There'll be more than that in your package, but I think that it's always nice to do odd numbers of things. I don't know if any of you all have heard that on different cooking shows, but odd numbers of things always look better on plates. And so we typically would plate up like that. And I just wanted to take a moment and talk about why we love Early Connections and why we feel so passionate about giving back to the community. I do not know how many years, I would suspect it's been 15 to 20 years at least, that we have been supporters of Early Connections. And I personally, and we as a company, and all of our employees just feel very passionately, especially in light of recent events, that the people that work with Early Connections in all of the centers and being able to keep things open for all of the parents, for first line workers, to me, those people are all the first line heroes that are often not talked about right now. And I just want to say that it became apparent to us from the beginning that we needed to show some love to the teachers and the daycare workers and the people that were doing the work behind the scenes so hard and making it possible for people to go to work. And as we know, we would even have bigger problems in our society if we didn't have these daycares open, and that they've been able to stay open is nothing short of a miracle, and we have been excited to be supporters. We will continue to be supporters. We would like to encourage you all to give what you can this evening. We will be donating as much as we possibly can from the proceeds of these meals, and we will continue to be a supporter of Early Connections, and just want to thank them so much for what they do for our community and for the children. In your kit, you have a recipe for a flourless chocolate torte. We went ahead for the sake of time tonight so that you could enjoy the maximum amount of wine and fun while you cook and enjoy the program that you've been watching, that you didn't have to cook a chocolate torte as well. So there is a recipe that you've got in your book, but this is a basic chocolate flourless torte that was made with bittersweet chocolate. Again, we will send the recipe in that book. But I'm going to just show you a couple quick tips about decorating, and I'd like to send a challenge out to Melanie and Thayer Tutt. One of the easiest things to do in serving your torte is, first of all, unless you're incredibly hungry and you really can eat this much chocolate torte, I would recommend that you cut it in slices. But for the effort of showing you how we would recommend that it be decorated, and you'll have all of these items right at your site in your kit, we recommend that you use a little bit of fresh mint. I like to just tear off just a pretty piece of fresh mint. Again, usually 3 to 5 kind of leaves is just a nice thing from a culinary perspective. You can, if you're plating up your dessert on individual plates, you can just sprinkle berries on the plates. If you're doing it this way, you can just sprinkle the berries atop. And on the counter. You can put them on the counter. Here's my challenge to Melanie and specifically Thayer. I'm going to show you how to make a rose out of a strawberry, and it's actually quite easy. You need a paring knife, a cutting board. There will be fresh, cleaned strawberries ready to go. You have them right now in your kit, and basically you are just going to go, and again, as Kathy said, a sharp knife. You're going to go down and pull, down and pull, down and pull. And turning is probably a better way of illustrating this. And as you are doing this, you will create a beautiful, you cut the very tip of it off, and you will create a beautiful little rose out of your fresh strawberry that you can nestle just right in your mint. And it's just a very pretty presentation and just kind of a fun challenge. And I would pay good money to see Thayer Tutt do that. And we would like to check and see how they're doing now on dessert.
Hello, I'm Melanie Tutt.
And I'm Thayer Tutt, and we're delighted to be part of this project today. Apparently, Michelle has challenged me to make a rose out of a strawberry. I brought my own first aid kit, so this could be a dark comedy instead of a food show. So, I'm going to start cutting this thing, as she told me. I slice it down, peel it out. I rotate around, do it again, and then I keep doing this. Hopefully I'm not cutting myself so far now, and I'm pushing it out just like she said. Then I cut the very top of it off, and then I think she said, hopefully. That's terrible, but okay, it's going to be what it is. So then I put it on the center there.
I'm fairly impressed.
And my hands are safe.
I think I'm fairly impressed with that, dear.
Fairly. Well, I think that was a compliment.
It's a little out of your wheelhouse.
Yes, it's not about managing money. It's about making creativity. So.
And then I think my part is the easy part. I have blueberries that I'm just supposed to spread around. Some fresh mint leaves that I think are just supposed to be decorative. Here you are.
You're distracting from
smell
my...
No, smell the mint.
You're distracting from my beautiful creation, Melanie.
No. Perfect.
That looks great.
Beautiful.
In this environment, this is a wonderful virtual event to do, and we're proud to be part of it.
So, voila, and bon appetit.
thank you so much for cooking with us tonight. It's really been an honor to show you how to prepare this meal kit. We hope that you've enjoyed yourself, and we want to thank you so much for your support of this amazing organization, and thank you so much for your support of this community, especially right now, but always.
Good night.
So here I am again to thank you again for this evening Beyond the Plate. We cannot do the work in this community without people like you who support us day in and day out, our volunteers, our donors, our friends in our community. And so tonight, a toast to you. Thank you for joining us for Beyond the Plate. We hope you had a great evening, and we hope we get to see you in person next year. Thanks.
And one more thank you from me. Thanks for joining us this evening and helping us raise so far over $48,000 for Early Connections Learning Centers. It's never too late. 56651 is the number to text Early Connections to, and you can donate anytime this evening. In the meantime, thank you once again. Enjoy your meal and the rest of the evening. Good night.